The first year in office for the Queensland Premier David Crisafulli has been welcomed by Shelter, an organisation who has worked for more than 35 years as a peak body to improve housing outcomes for Queenslanders. Well, joining us live is Fiona Caniglia, the Executive Director for Shelter. Fiona, thank you so much for joining us. You released a report only moments ago. What was in it?
We are releasing a report in a little while, just looking at the monitoring of displacement in southeast Queensland in the runway to the Games. I think what we're saying after 1 year of this government is that we're very pleased to see a procurement process that is always open so that social and affordable homes can be constructed, and that growth program is benefiting the strength and sustainability of community housing providers around the state. And it's important that we have this pipeline of funding that goes beyond the forward estimates, because organisations can plan that pipeline of housing. They're not just planning project by project. They have a future view that means we can see that pipeline unfold in the timeframe that we need it to over the next 20 years. What we've also got, though, is a sustained level of homelessness, and that's because there has actually been decades of neglect in terms of housing supply, and also the number of services available to people who are homeless is not kept pace with the population's needs. So when we say that the pipeline is really positive, it definitely is. And what we also need to do is sustain our efforts to mitigate the current crisis so that people get the assistance that they need. And that will be the case for the foreseeable future until this pipeline of housing starts to be operational on the ground.
And what are some of the general numbers that we're seeing regarding people needing assistance compared to perhaps other years?
So our report does talk about there being, about 3 years ago, about 6,000 people presenting for assistance with specialist homelessness services. For Brisbane, that's now over 9,000 people. Now, that could be because there has been an uplift in funding. Both governments in Queensland committed to a 20% uplift in funding for specialist homelessness services. So if you have more staff, it means you can help more people. We probably think that surge in numbers reflects more the reality of how many people are seeking assistance, but it also means more people are getting through the door and getting that help. The data is interesting because it also shows that people are being assisted upstream rather than always waiting for the crisis to be as bad as it can be. So people might still be housed, but they're seeking help to sustain that housing. That's very important because it is prevention rather than curing a crisis.
And Fiona, what more can you tell us about the long-term, the short-term and the immediate crisis situation?
Well, immediately we still have a lot of people requiring assistance. So that increase in funding is very important. It's also really important that we invest in crisis or temporary accommodation for the foreseeable future. Every tier of government is struggling. The councils are seeing a lot more people in parks. We know that the additional assistance has helped all tiers of government with the community services sector work in an integrated way on the ground. For the foreseeable future, that is going to be essential that continues and that is funded to a sustainable, reasonable level so that we can assist people who are currently in a crisis. As housing comes through, of course, we will hopefully see more people in permanent homes. But we need to see other reforms. The construction industry is still struggling to build in the volume that we need. So new technologies, modern methods of construction, these are great opportunities for a nation like Australia to be leading the world. We could benefit a lot from those technologies where the workforce is sustained and transformed. In fact, it attracts more people to the workforce. Modern methods of construction are the future. It's important to also say that we need every type of housing. We need more intensified medium to higher density homes closer to infrastructure. But within that, we have to be working together as a community to make sure there's enough social and affordable homes for people who really do need assistance.
And as you well know, we are heading towards the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. What will you be watching for closely as we get closer to the Games?
So we are monitoring displacement in all of the LGAs where the Olympics infrastructure will be constructed and also where the Olympics will occur. Mega events across the world demonstrate the real risk that people on lower incomes are displaced from the housing market. We are seeing some concerning trends like a reduction in the number of boarding houses, for example. And we know that over time what can happen is that more homes go into the the temporary accommodation market for purposes of tourism. We are currently very reliant on hotels and motels to temporarily accommodate homeless people, and those facilities are going to want to lean into the games and have those real economic opportunities. So we are monitoring displacement because we know that mega events can cause catastrophic impacts on people who are struggling, and we may well end up eroding the magnificent gains that are on the cards right now through investment if we don't get the displacement monitoring right and also prevent it from occurring in the first place. And we're not only talking about people on really low incomes, we're talking about key workers, people working in hospitals, emergency services, teachers, being able to live anywhere near where they work. And they're so essential to our community and also the economy. We have to get this right.
Yeah, certainly sounds that way. Fiona Caniglia, always appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.